Hello out there. We're on the air. Arnie's up. Arnie heard the show has started. Hey, he's got his gator. Look at that. Better not be squeaking that thing today, Arn. Okay, we had a bit of a late start today, I would say. Not too late though. I just had a really busy morning, believe it or not. Got up, did my routine, and then had I don't even know how long the call was. Quite a long call with Craig this morning. So in other words, we don't have a whole lot prepared today. Although I do have more than probably I've had in a long time here. So we'll see. I got to bring a few things up. I got a couple funny things to share. I want to watch a video today, and I don't know. The internet's been really acting up here in the last couple of days. So hopefully everything's okay. And people are still kind of making their way in. I just started the stream like literally a minute before we went live here. So we'll let some people show up. I got to find my Proton drive. I usually send it to myself, but today I use the Proton drive. Okay, where are we here? Cloud storage, I think. All right. Are we okay here? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Seems really choppy. That's okay though. That's all right. We're going to get through it. I got a couple. Okay, here we go. We got it. Proton drive, underrated. Okay, so I got the screenshots there. I can see there's some funny ones in here. Okay, we're good. Good to see. Good morning, Killer. Good morning, Jason. We got Josh. Chatting with Josh yesterday. And hopefully have a new white hat here coming soon. We'll see. Cleaner machine official. Good morning. $1.52 with a couple white rabbits there. That's good to see. We got Jason saying nation state and U.S. state adoption. I saw that. That map is sure starting to look orange. Holy, there's some things happening right now that even a lot of Bitcoiners are missing out on, it feels like. Anyways, good morning, Rick. Shout out to Arnie for showing up today with his gator. A little bit camera shy still today, but that's okay. Rick says, have you smashed the like yet? Good morning, Rick. That's a good question. Probably not. I think a lot of people are just showing up here. We had a late start. We got some things happening, which is good though. All right, so we got 25 people watching right now. And I'm going to set a goal today. What should our goal be? Let's do 5 super chats, orange and higher, for what do we got here today? About an hour. And what are we going to do with that? We're going to buy some Biddy. There we go. Start goal. All right, what do we have for likes in here today? 10. Sad. How's the Zap stream doing? Anybody over there? Yeah, we got a couple people. We got fat Zap. I would say anything over 888 is considered a fat Zap in my eyes anyways. So Daniel zapped 888 sats. Thank you, Daniel. And Bodie's over there as well, and a couple more people. So good morning, Zap stream. Good morning, Rumble. And if you're watching today in the Rumble chat, make sure you say hi. Rumble chat's been quiet, but we're going to stick with it. We're going to keep going with Rumble until people start showing up. All right, let's keep her going here. I got some housekeeping things to catch up on, and then we'll get into some funny stuff. Some funny and fun stuff today. That's what the theme is going to be for today's show. Hebo Man. How are you doing today, Jar? We're doing good. Like I said, I just got off a call with Craig, one of my partners in crime. I mean, legal crime. I'm sure Craig's going to love that. I'm sure Craig will love that. But no, we had a good chat. We had a really good chat. We got a couple things that we got to change. And we're starting to push some people through the SUBSTAck protocols already, which is good. We've had probably a couple dozen calls now with people within the community and people who are interested in looking after their Bitcoin a little bit better. Not a little bit better, the best it can be, in my personal opinion. And the good news is we're actually going to have Craig on the show next week. So it's breaking news. Not the live show here, I don't think. We don't exactly know how we're going to do yet. It's going to have to be somewhat limited in terms of the people that the numbers. So we're going to definitely reach out to Living the Future community today to see who's interested in doing it. I might do it next Wednesday instead of doing the private chat, the private Q&A. If that day works for Craig. But anyways, it's exciting because I want to, we're obviously going to hear about the SUBSTAck security and inheritance protocol, or what we're working on with it. And just some other stuff, some general good privacy stuff. So if you're interested in that, I would say just shoot me an email today and I'll put you on the list. I probably won't advertise it after this. I'll say it probably once on here. And if you happen to see this right now, then you're in luck. So if you want to show up and if you want to become a little bit smarter about Bitcoin and security and hear a little bit more about SUBSTAck, then shoot me an email. Just put all caps SUBSTAck. So I see it. All right, what do we got? Bailey. Morning, Bailey. Need to reach out to Bailey. That's a good good to see you in the chat this morning, Bailey. I need to reach out to Bailey. Scarpelli, one of our favorite names in the biz. Scarpelli Productions. Good morning. Brendan, top of the morning to you, my friend. Timber Crasher. Ryan Brown, back in the house. Tyrese, smash the like button upon arrival. Good man. Good morning, Tyrese. Good to see you, brother. Hebo, look at this. I view every video you post. It's a lot of, that's a lot of me. I apologize for that. But I hope you're learning some stuff anyways. Laughpad, good morning, buddy. Nitney, just started my living on the Bitcoin standard journey. Wow. Good for you. Good for you. Any tips you can share with us? I'm kind of going through the same thing myself right now. I posted a video yesterday about that, not about the living on a Bitcoin standard, but finding some banks and some financial advisors to work with on that. Actually, this was so funny yesterday. So funny. So we did our private Q&A yesterday, and it was great. We did about an hour and a half, a little bit more than that, actually. There's a lot of really good questions in there. I would suggest if you're a journeyman or a Living in the Future member, definitely go check that out. It's going to be worth your time. There were some really good questions in there. That's kind of my favorite day of the week. Honestly, I know it's probably bad to say, but I love it because we can just talk. It's a lot more private in there. There's a lot less noise, a lot more signal. And I feel a lot more comfortable sharing some things in that setting versus just live for literally anybody to watch. So it's definitely worth it if you got some time today, check that out. So then after I was doing a couple of videos for the 365 days of Bitcoin. And then I was like, you know what? I wanted to talk about something in there, but I was like, this will be more appropriate for the channel. So I filmed this video talking about, I titled it, I'm looking for a new bank. And I basically said, like, you know, banks, financial advisors, anybody out there who's willing to embrace Bitcoin has a huge opportunity here, huge opportunity. And I said, I want to be the guy here who connects Bitcoiners from this community to banks and financial advisors. Because as hard as people are working on moving onto a Bitcoin standard here, the reality is that most people still have a mortgage, they still have a car payment, they still do a lot of things with their bank. And so if we can find some banks that are friendly to Bitcoin and some financial advisors who are friendly to Bitcoin in different parts of the world, that's where we can kind of really start growing this thing. And so I said, you know, if that's you, just shoot me an email. So I encourage people too. I wanted to share this with the show today, with the community here, because I ask you, if you do have any bankers in your life, anybody who works at a bank or has any influence at a bank, or if you have a financial advisor as a buddy, whoever, family member, just send them that video. I kept it under 20 minutes. I was fairly straight to the point with a bit of understanding why Bitcoin is going to be so important, but also the huge opportunity that they have in front of them here if they're willing to do it. And you know how less risky it is today versus a year ago after Larry Fink, Donald Trump, everything that's happened in the last year. It's a lot less risky now to be having these conversations with clients. So anyways, I I did this video, and I hate editing, right? Like you guys know that. I do a show every day here. So I say some stupid shit. And anyway, so I tried to do this video without any edits, but I started doing it. And anyways, so I had to cut out like the first minute, edit it, uploaded it, cut it. And then I went to uploaded it, posted it, everything. And then I got a notification on my phone saying multiple intros. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man, I shared the original video of this, which was hilarious because it was like 1 minute of me. I started doing it and then I said something wrong or my nose got itchy or something. And so I had to restart. So there was like 2 or 3 like intros of it for the first minute. And then I actually got to it and the rest of the video was fine. But the funny thing is when I saw that comment, I actually just went up and started uploading the version that I already had edited. And so then I just completely forgot to delete the other one because I was too focused on actually getting the proper video out there. So anyways, I think there was a couple F words in it because I messed up. And then, so anyways, the funny thing about that was after I realized what happened there, I was like, oh God, I hope that nobody like professionally saw that and, you know, they're not going to take me very seriously. But the funny thing is that as soon as I shared the video, deleted the other one, I checked my email and there was already an email in there from somebody, an advisor saying, you know, I love watching your videos. I watch them all the time. I'm a financial advisor. You know, here's my contact info. So I thought that was hilarious that even after some dumb stuff and a couple of F words, somebody was still, you know, interested to work with me. So it's good. Maybe I should have just kept the original up there. That would have been, it's a good filter for people. If they see that they can, if they're okay with working with that guy, then they're definitely going to be working with the polished version here. As polished as I can be anyways. So yeah, that was pretty funny. But then it kind of got me thinking too, you know, after a year and a half of doing live shows here, like literally every morning for a year and a half almost, I'm very surprised that like nothing real bad has happened. And I should probably knock on wood. I don't know if there's any real wood around here. But yeah, it's surprising to me that like I haven't said anything completely offside or been canceled yet or whatever, because I don't really hold back at all. So anyways, that's how I wanted to. I got a couple more housekeeping things here as well. But anyways, I see some zaps coming in. Daniel says rare short sleeve day. Yeah, probably. I'd say 1 in 10 days I wear a t-shirt. I like my 21 million one. I like my Kid Rock one. And then a couple other ones I mix in. But usually it's hoodies, as you know. Bodie zapped 888 sats. Fat zap said BG will be previewing case study on Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin generations. We'll be previewing a case study on Bitcoin being used in small businesses. Maybe they can implement Superbacked. That happens today at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you got some time, Bodie and myself will be interviewing a couple, I believe, who's implemented Bitcoin into their business. So I'm excited for that. We got Phoenix Falconer over in the Zap stream. You know what? I never even shared this on Nostr today. And we got Killer. Zapped 88 sats. Look at that. Said trying out the stream. Thank you, Killer. Well, you were successful. Successful start to your Zap stream journey. All right. Anybody on Rumble? Couple people over there. Sorry, Rumble. And we got Spaceman zapped 188 sats. Good morning, everybody. Hope you are all having a great day so far. And we got Tom over there. And look who showed up. Craig. Good morning, Craig, once again. Good to see you, my friend. And we got a couple chats to catch up on here as well. Mike Anthony. G'day, mate. Excuse my ignorance. Is Jor short for Jordan? I can't be giving that away. I'm trying to look after my, if I told you my name, Craig would be on the phone right after the video today saying, Jor, you gotta work on your OPSEC, man. You gotta be more private. So you're on the right track. I'll say that. It's not Jordan, but you're on the right track. And that's not even my real name either. But it is the name that I go by. Like all my friends, all my family, everybody calls me that. But my legal name is a different name. Jerry, looking forward to super backed. All right. Well, Chris, it sounds like you got an audience so far anyway. So we got myself, Jerry will be there. Jerry will be there. I gotta message Jerry after the show today. I got a voice message from Jerry. I wake up at 6 here. And so I checked my phone. It was about 6:30 by the time I took Arnie out, did the red light stuff, got woken up for the day. Checked my phone, and I had a voice message from Jerry in there. And it said 2 hours ago. So I started doing some math in my head. I was like, okay, 6:30 here. 2 hours ago, it would have been 4:30 in the morning. And Jerry's 2 hours behind me. So that would have been like 3 in the morning-ish, or 2 in the morning. So I got to message him back this morning and see what the heck he was doing up that late. Anyways, we got Paul. Good morning, Paul. Daisy finally in from the snow. Daisy is Paul's dog. I forget what it is. Elkhound, I think. Elkhound Shepherd mix. Beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. Nittany says, I started with Strike's direct deposit feature, just a part of my paycheck, 100% deposit into Bitcoin. Then I pay various bills with the bill pay feature. Canada has Bitcoin Well and Bull Bitcoin that does the same. Yes. Yeah, so I mean, that's a very easy first step, honestly. Like very easy. If you just start taking your paycheck, you can either do a direct deposit or just as soon as it lands in your bank account, you throw it into Bitcoin. And you can actually pay for things in your life with Bitcoin using like Strike or Bitcoin Well here in Canada. So it's pretty cool. Like you basically set them up as like a utility, like, how you pay your credit card bill or your utility bill. You can set up from within Bull Bitcoin or Bitcoin Well or Bull Bitcoin. I think both have that feature, bill pay. It's pretty badass. So it's the first step you can take to, getting rid of the banks of your life, cleaning out the banks. We got Daniel says, good morning, NPub. I don't know who that is. Sunshine zapped 88 sats. Thank you, Sunshine. And Craig zapped 2.1 thousand sats for Arnie Insurance. Thank you, Craig. That's a fat zap. 2.1 thousand sats. Thank you, Craig. And Plunger's here as well. Zapped 320 sats and said, good morning, team. Thank you, Zapstream. You're buzzing this morning. We got a little baby buzz on Zapstream. Oh, I was going to share it. Shit. Okay, so I do want to give a couple other shout outs as well. Some big ones here. So let me just quickly, I think I can just share this. Maybe I'll just say we're live. Because Zapstream actually shares every time I go live now because it's connected with my NPub. Or maybe I just get the notification now. We are live. Okay. Oh, that's easier. That's way easier for me. All right. Craig says he fixed his apps. That's good. That a boy. All right. So housekeeping stuff. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place today. That's what happens when I don't have my full prep. I can blame Craig for that today. So I want to say a couple thank yous here. I want to say thank you to somebody. I have no idea who it was, but somebody sent in 40,000 sats to the wallet yesterday. No name, no message, anything, just 40,000 sats, which is fucking amazing. So whoever that was, if you're watching, I have no idea, but thank you very, very, very much. And Letha too. Letha, I don't know if she's in the chat today or not. I haven't seen or heard from her yet. But Letha zapped 6,000 sats. And what did she say here? What did she say? She said, thank you for the great stream or the great private session. I learned a lot. 6,000 sats. So thank you, Letha. Very, very kind of you. And yes, once again, that was the private Q&A. We're going to keep doing that every Wednesday going forward, which is for the Bitcoin Journeyman on the YouTube channel and for the Living the Future members on the Patreon channel. It's going to be all private Q&A. So again, much smaller setting, more private. We can say a lot more on there. There's almost zero censorship on the private show. And that's where we can get into some of the fun stuff about Bitcoin. So, I mean, outside of like the videos that are available, outside the Signal chat that's available, the Discord, I think even that Wednesday private show for people would be extremely beneficial for what you pay for it. So again, you can join through the channel or you can join through the Living the Future in the show notes there. All my links, everything is in the show notes. And consider joining so then you don't miss any days and you can get some of the good stuff on Wednesdays. And good morning, Lock Sky. Good morning, Santino. It was me, says, I saw you picking your nose like nothing. And I was like, WTF must be a Canadian thing. Yeah, so I started doing the intro and then I felt something kind of itchy there. So yeah, that was on YouTube for probably half an hour until I realized that I forgot to delete that video. So anyways, that was the best part because even after the video, there was one person who reached out and said they wanted to work with me. So that was so funny. I took a video of it too before I deleted it because it was fucking hilarious. I want to share it one day. Dirty Scan says, yes, we all say dumb stuff. True. True. And you know what? I'm surprised that it could have been, I mean, even that video, it could have been way worse. I could have been, naked, or I could have been saying some really offside things. So it was just funny to me. Bill, good morning, my friend. Ginger. We got Cleaner Machine. Can't wait for the show with Bodie today. Yeah, me neither. Looking for that. I'm looking forward to that. Buck52 says, I would like you to interview debate on an XRP loyalist on your channel. They're extremely confident right now. I would, honestly, but it's just such a waste of time to me. It's such a waste of time to me. So I don't know. All you need to know about XRP, for the most part, like you don't have to look too far into it. It's a complete joke of a token. I mean, you just look at a couple different things here. The first one is it's very centralized, very centralized. They did not have a fair launch like Bitcoin did. There's no supply schedule. We don't, we know how much there is today. We have no idea how many there's going to be in 2 years from now. I don't think anyways. I haven't paid enough attention to it to even give a shit. But a big one, and I actually shared this on the YouTube channel today, which was hilarious. Let me find it here. But I shared it out on Discord too. I don't know if you can see that or not. It says, never ask a woman her age, never ask a man his salary, and never ask Brad Garlinghouse for the missing ledgers number 1 through 32,569. So essentially the XRP blockchain is completely missing ledgers number 1 through 32,569. Cool. That sounds like a really solid foundation that I want to be investing in. I mean, if you just talked about that, that's legitimately enough for me. So if you want to buy XRP, I mean, that's on you. You haven't put in the work to deserve better than that. Daniel says, I've decided that nostr is still really just a toy for tech people. It will be the system we look back on as the one that was around before the real thing. Kind of like John the Baptist. Feel me? Yeah. You're probably not wrong, Daniel. You're probably not wrong. Bodie says, Odell had an interesting conversation on nostr onboarding with Fran, the Zap Store guy. Devs know it needs help in a big way. Yeah. And Daniel says it's worth listening to the Guy Swan interview with John Carvello. He has great insights into nostr. That was, I still keep trying to get through that one. I even tried again last night before bed. I might do it today. It's hard for me to find time right now to do all this stuff. And it's, I got people, I shouldn't say it like it's a bad thing, but I got people sending me things, Jor, watch this. What do you think of this? So, but I am very interested to hear more about the pubkey stuff. I think that that's a very interesting one. Hey, Matt, good morning. Bitcoin is better than a CD. It's better than many things. It's magic. Tone. Morning, Tone. Just kind of magic. AV says, I watched that version, take 4. It would have been take 4 or 5. It was funny. I mean, that's the thing for me. It's like I don't edit any of my stuff really unless the internet goes out. That's usually the only time I edit. Once I get going, and I actually have, especially looking back to a year ago, like if I was going to post a video on the channel, I would probably go through 10 tries of like how I want it to start, how I wanted to, try to catch people's attention right off the bat. So it's like, but once I get going, then I don't, as you could tell by the video, I didn't edit anything after that. But it's everybody goes through that. I'm getting a lot better at it in terms of like being confident enough to just start talking and roll with it. But, a year ago, I would have done 10, 15 takes before choosing the right one. And I think that if you talk to anybody on YouTube, they'd probably feel the same, but then they also chop up for the rest of the time too, and come back to it later. And yeah, that's why I love the live show. Cause there's nothing to hide here. You can't hide, which is fucking scary for one, but it also, it builds you up good. I think it hardens you. And that also there's inherent trust there. I think just from people who do live shows, I think more so than people who have really polished and, fancy scripted videos. So it's a big thing when you're dealing with people's money and financial stuff. The trust is a non-negotiable. It's the most important thing. It's the only thing really. You have to have some knowledge and stuff, obviously, otherwise you're not going to last very long. But when you're dealing with people's money and financial stuff, number one thing is trust. And so anyways, Tyler, sorry, or T Jacobson, not Tyler. I don't know where I saw Tyler there. Use Speed Wallet for the first time. Sent you 500 sats. Thank you. You deserve it. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. XRP is not going away. Yeah. Okay. Just because it's not going away, it doesn't mean it's fucking worthless. T Jacobson, 5,000. Oh, that's even better. Thank you. Damn. 5,000 sats to this one, I'm guessing. I don't know. Anyways, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, what do we got here? Craig says XRP circulating supply is 57 billion coins. Which again is just kind of it's just a number. It's like Bitcoin's 21 million. It has no real significance there, in my opinion. It doesn't. But max supply of 100 billion. Of the 100 billion supply, 80 billion went to Ripple. In other words, when you buy XRP, you are the liquidity for the founders. The founders are currently that's all I can see. Lobbying probably for Washington. XRP is a joke. That's as far as we can go into it. XRP and Bitcoin can coexist. Yeah, definitely they can. Yep. They can coexist for sure. XRP can hang around as long as it wants to. Again, that doesn't mean it's worth anything. It just means you're wasting a whole bunch of time and energy. Vendetta. Bitcoin is organic. XRP is GMO deep fried. Very good. Very good analogy there. Bodhi says, I'm optimistic Trump sees through the lobbying BS and has laser eyes. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts as well, honestly, because this whole thing so far has been just based on complete fluff. Like Trump hasn't come out and said anything. And that is, we're kind of we're back to the point where now all of a sudden people are like trusting things because Trump's president. You're going to trust what MSNBC says, and you're going to trust what you see on Twitter. And it's like, until Trump actually comes out and says something about it, nothing matters. Nothing. Speaking of Trump, my favorite post yesterday, I actually wanted to share this today, but I didn't bring it up. I didn't screenshot it. But I saw a picture of Kash Patel, one of my favorite guys, has been for a couple of years now, one of my favorite guys. But he had a picture of a watermelon. Did you guys see this yesterday? He had a picture of a watermelon with a backwards hat and pencil neck's name. What's the name? Schiff? Peter? No, not Peter Schiff. Adam Schiff. Is that a name? Adam Schiff. They call him Watermelon Head. He looks like a watermelon. But anyways, he had it on this catapult that he was about to launch. I thought that was hilarious because Adam Schiff, I think that's his name, has been one of the biggest pieces of shit that exists in the world. Adam Schiff. Okay, I'm done here. I'm done with Alien James. King, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, we don't need to spend too much time worrying about XRP. It's a joke. That's all it is. Like, if you look past it, you're wasting your time. If you look any further into it, you're wasting your time. Okay, speaking of that, let's share this screenshot here because no, it's not the one I want. Here it is. Here we go. So this is good. This is good for the XRPers here. This is a shout out to you. Probably one of my favorite memes that exist is the "Don't shoot" one. So it says, "Don't shoot, I'm retarded." And then the guys with the gun say, "Prove it." Guy says, "XRP to the moon." I mean, if you can't laugh at that, then I don't know. You probably own XRP. So that's a good one. I wanted to share that one. It was kind of timely right now as well. What else do we have in here that I wanted to share? Share a couple screenshots here while we're... Okay, I want to save that one. That's a whole nother chat. Oh, this was a big one. This one happened yesterday. So this was a post from Nostr, and I actually sent this to the Living in the Future community. I don't think many people got it. But this was one of my posts from Tuesday. And I sent to the chat, I said, this is something that would only ever happen on Nostr. And as you can see here, there's my post. It says Nostr is a gold mine for like-minded, brilliant fucking people. Very powerful. So there's some recognizable faces here. American Hodl right there. He gave me one of these. American Hodl's a good shit. But this one, look at that. You guys recognize that face? Jack Dorsey sent in 5,225 sats. He zapped the post. So something like that, not only like getting a reply from Jack or something along those lines, but getting a zap, having Jack Dorsey send you Bitcoin for a post you made is the pinnacle for me. I should have just shut down operations yesterday after this. So this was pretty cool. So I know Jack will never watch this, but anyways, thank you, Jack. You made my day. And again, that only happens on Nostr. This one's this one's funny. Okay, let me zoom in on the comment here. I almost spit out my coffee when I saw this. Okay, so this says break in California, and I don't know if this is legit. It was just funny to me, so I wanted to share it. So it says breaking: California Secretary of State Shirley Weber has approved a campaign to gather signatures petitioning for a vote on whether California should leave the U.S. and become an independent country, per Newsweek. And then it says, is this a real person or an AI generated transgender Bill Cosby? Okay, what's her name? Shirley. I got to confirm that this is actually Shirley Weber. It could not. I don't think. Oh, maybe. No, that can't be a real picture. I don't know. You guys be the judge. You guys be the judge. So this is from the Los Angeles Times. It says Shirley Weber, godmother of reparations. I don't know. Maybe that actually was the legit photo, but that other one looked identical. I think that this one is doctored a little bit. I think it has to be. Oh, man. I don't know if I'm going to hell or not, but anyways, that's worth it to me. What, zap from a billionaire? Yeah, that's kind of cool, honestly. I mean, it's cool that he's a billionaire, but also cool that he's like, Jack Dorsey. Pretty badass. Bodhi says that's AI. I think it is too, but it's still, I mean, like, it's not the fact that you even have to ask if it is or not. That just goes to show that it's not too far of a stretch to say that that's legitimate. All right, we got some good chats here. Okay, so people enjoyed that. That's good. That's good because I really enjoyed that one. Probably too much. Okay, so this is another one from XRP here. Let me scroll down. So this is a post from Brad Garlinghouse himself, actually, on Twitter. So let's read this because I thought that this was very, very rich. So Brad Garlinghouse says, some thoughts on maximalism. Let me say this as clearly as I can. Who does that sound like? To me, Justin Trudeau says that all the time. Let me be clear. Joe Biden also says that a lot. To be clear. So Brad says, let me say this as clearly as I can. The crypto industry has a real shot here and now to achieve the many goals we have in common if we work together instead of tearing each other down. This is not and will never be a zero-sum game. Says, I own XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum among a handful of others. We live in a multi-chain world, and I advocated for a level playing field instead of one token versus another. If a government digital asset reserve is created, I believe it should be representative of the industry, not just one token, whether it be Bitcoin, XRP, or anything else. Maximalism remains the enemy of crypto progress. Yeah, that's true. And I'm very glad to see fewer and fewer folks ascribe to this outdated and misinformed thinking. So Brad's essentially suggesting here that we apply our DEI, our diversity, equity, and inclusion, into the crypto assets that we hold as a reserve. He doesn't think it's fair. It shouldn't be, it's a multi-chain world. And we need a level playing field for all these tokens to compete instead of one token versus another. Here's the thing, Brad. Here's the thing. Make a token that's better than Bitcoin, and I will gladly support that. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I am take my time and energy and store it in the best way possible with zero leaks and zero manipulation with it in terms of what can be changed. That's what I'm a maxi for. And right now that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the only thing that has that. And so I'm not ever going to subscribe to the fact that things need to be leveled just because you think that it's fair. Fair to who? The 80% of people who have the fucking coins that you pre-mined? Get out of here, Brad. Of course, his name's Brad too. So yeah, Brad Garlinghouse thinks that we need to apply the DEI framework to the crypto industry. We need to make it fair. This was a big one too that I saw. These are all screenshots, so I apologize for the font being so small. But anyways, that's what we're working with today. I was in a rush. Another piece of news here. So this says Petrobras Petrobras. Okay. This says Brazil's state-run oil company is getting into Bitcoin mining. They plan to use the gas produced during oil extraction to power Bitcoin mining. The project aims to make energy use more efficient and reduce carbon emissions. By using waste gas, Petrobras hopes to contribute both the Bitcoin industry and environmental goals. Yeah, nice. This new step shows how oil companies like Petrobras are exploring new ways to use energy and get involved in the growing cryptocurrency market. And then it says this company is accountable for approximately 90% of Brazil's energy base, probably nothing. So that's something to keep an eye on there is Petrobras, see how that shakes out. I mean, it just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. And we're just going to see more and more of this as we move forward here of, common sense, logical people who are making smart decisions. It's all this comes down to. It's no more complicated than that. It's no more complicated than that. Hey, we got my Pat to fire over in the Zap stream this morning. Zapped 100 sats. Thank you, my friend. Zap stream's buzzing today. It's good to see. I just got to make sure that my rent doesn't run out there. Okay, I think that I think we'll leave it there for today in terms of screenshots. I'm screenshotted out. Matt says Rajat wrapped a fire pod yesterday. Highly recommend. I think I saw that. I don't know what it was on, but I saw something come up with Rajat yesterday. I mean, he posts a video every day, so I'm sure I saw it. But Terry says crab lice are not going away, nor will cockroaches. Exactly. That's exactly right. XRP CEO saying they can coexist. Yep, wants the price to go up so they can dump their 55% of coins that they hold, then create more and continue to dump that on you. Yeah. Lapad says, I was watching Simply Bitcoin yesterday and their guest was talking about a speculative attack on 401k accounts. Borrow money out of the account and the interest you pay on the loan goes back in the 401k. So what would be the speculative attack there? I don't know. Sats Venture. Look at this. Haven't seen Sats Venture for a while. I've joined your live stream from New Zealand today, hiking a mountain at 2 a.m., only 2 hours in. Wow, that's dedication. Sorry I didn't see this till now. Good luck with that. I got to get to New Zealand myself. It's up there on my list. Normie Weimarkin says, always refer to a politician or a prominent person's Wikipedia early life section. Always. Soon you'll just know without referring. Don't know what that's about, but interesting nonetheless. Bob, look at that. It says, like the video if you like that meme. Yeah, that's true. If you own Bitcoin and you hate XRP, it's a good time to like the video. And as Rick says, if you don't like the video, you're going to end up on Santa's naughty list. You don't want that. I knew people would like that one. The bonus of being an XRP bag holder is that you'll get huge biceps from holding the bag. Yeah, that is true. Santino. Yeah, this is people like that one. Russ says, new to the channel, liked and subscribed. That a boy. Welcome, Russ. Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. You're going to like it here. You're going to like it here. Godmother of reparations. Yeah, what a shit show. Yes. Okay. What does this say? George. What's Jay saying here? Jed McCaleb. Is that supposed to be there? Anyways, sorry, Jed. I probably shouldn't have doxed you there. I don't know if that's your name or if you're typing that in, but anyways, welcome, Jay. We'll call you. George says, tips on convincing my brother not to wait for a dip to buy Bitcoin. You know what? I've talked to so many people in this last month. For some reason, I don't know where they're getting their information from. I really don't. I've had a lady, and she might be watching the show today, so I don't mean to, shit on you here, lady. But she usually emails me like every week saying, I keep seeing that Bitcoin's going to go down to 80K. So I'm just going to keep holding out. And I've told her, every response that I've sent back has been, Bitcoin only moves 4 or 5 days in a cycle, big moves. And if you're sitting on the sidelines during one of those days, you're going to miss out on a lot and you're never going to get it back. Never. So in terms of tips on convincing them, I don't know. I don't have any tips. I really don't, because I could sit here for 2 hours and tell you why it's better to buy today than, but here's the thing. You have to understand this. There's not a big difference between 100K, 120K, and 80K. When we look back in 5 or 10 years from now, you're not going to give a shit what amount you paid for it. Yes, you might get more sats if you wait for 80, which will it come? I have no idea. Do I think it will? No. But I don't know for sure. I don't have a crystal ball. But the flip side of that is that if you miss out, if you're waiting for something to happen or waiting for this big drop that these Bitcoin or crypto influencers on YouTube are telling you, if you're waiting for that and all of a sudden it runs up to 200K tomorrow or 300K tomorrow, it could happen. The thing about Bitcoin is that we have nothing to base this on. There's 16 years of history. There's been a lot of crazy shit that have happened. So it's not like other markets where we have something to compare it to here. Bitcoin is completely unique in characteristics and its scarcity. So this thing could shoot up to 200, 300, 500, and that will make a big difference. If you have cash sitting on the sidelines when that happens, if it happens, that's a big dent. But if you wait for it to go down to 80 from where it is today, you're not going to make up that much ground, even if it happens. But if you miss out on one of the days where, especially right now in the cycle and in the current environment that we're in, I'd say the odds of this thing running up to 200 or 300K in a couple of days is much more likely than dropping down to 80. I really believe that. And there's a huge variance there between the two in terms of what you'll miss out on if you're waiting for something to happen. So the best piece of advice is just this. Set up a recurring buy every week, dollar cost average into this thing, do it for a long time. And anytime you have a significant amount of cash, just buy Bitcoin. Don't worry about like trying to time it. Don't be sitting on the sidelines. As soon as you have that, just buy Bitcoin. That's it. It does not get any more fucking simple than that. It doesn't. Terry says, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm a skeptic of human nature, aka greed. Yeah, me too. I don't call myself a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't. Because whenever I agree with the fact that anytime you're a maximalist on anything, that to me suggests that you have a very closed mind. It means you've made up your mind and you're not willing to change. And to me, even there's a difference between somebody who only holds Bitcoin and a Bitcoin maximalist. I hold the majority of my wealth in Bitcoin related products. I would say like 99%. So if this thing goes down, I'm going down with it. And that's why I have no issues coming on here. And I don't say at the start of every show, like, this is not financial advice, like every other channel does, even though they're fucking saying financial advice. But I don't say that because all of my wealth's in Bitcoin. And so if Bitcoin fails, the only way somebody would sue me is if Bitcoin fails somehow, if they could. I don't know what they would do. I don't know what the basis would be there. But at that point, if Bitcoin fails, then I've failed. And if you want to try to sue me, you're going to get, I don't know, Arnie. So what's the point for me? This thing either takes off and we all win, or something happens and we lose and you can't get anything from me at that point. So I'm not in the business of the disclaimers here. And I even had a couple people that that I kind of work with say that. Not from the community here or anything like that, but like actual companies that I like sharing their products with. they've said, you got to put a disclaimer on your videos at the start saying that it's not financial advice. You're not liable for it. And I was like, sorry, not doing it. King says, hey, I'm releasing a neurodivergent coin. Please fund my project. Sunshine says our wealth is in Bitcoin. That is what it means to die on a hill. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This ship goes down, I'm going down with it. And I'm okay with that too. That's the thing. I'm totally okay with that. Because when I'm laying on my deathbed in 200 years from now, or I'm asking to be unplugged, whatever it looks like at that time, I'm just gonna know that my heart was in the right place the whole time. And I stood up for what I believed in through and through. And if I was wrong, then that's fine. But my heart was in the right place. I was very committed to it and focused on it. And I didn't waver from that. And I think that when you're looking back on your life, those are the kinds of things that you're going to think about. It's not going to be you're not going to regret any things that you didn't do. Or that you did do. Sorry. You're not going to regret any things that you did do. You're going to regret the things that you didn't. And if you're just kind of going along in life, knowing that things are wrong, knowing that things are completely broken, knowing that how many issues are being caused by our monetary system. If you're aware of that and you're just going on with your life, just kind of pretending it isn't happening, you're going to regret not doing something about it. That's how I feel about it anyways. And so at the end of this, I'm going to know that I did absolutely everything that I could. Even if I'm wrong, it won't matter to me. I'll sleep well, I'll say. I'll sleep well for a couple thousand years in my deep sleep. Vendetta says, make a token better than Bitcoin. It's not a token. Yeah, that's true. It's a globalized digital energy with 15 years of network effect. You can't make a better one. That's true. And that's what CASP is going to deal with too. CASP is another, I wouldn't say it's a joke. I got some hair here or something. I wouldn't say CASP is a joke. It's just a waste of time. Because even if they're doing the same kind of thing as Bitcoin, they'll never achieve the same level of network effect that Bitcoin has. They won't ever. And that's a big part of it. The network effect is a big part of it. There's no CASPA. Oh, there might be actually. I was going to say there's no CASPA shows, but I'm sure there is. Timber says, Terry, that's how I feel. It's cool to see the technology develop new money or cryptos, but at the end of the day, if money is in the control of human hands, it will always be corrupted. Immaculate conception and missing founder is what makes Bitcoin special forever. It was developed at a time when the founder could still remain anonymous and disappear forever. Thank you, Satoshi. Yeah, aside from the perfect, I wouldn't say perfect, but the closest thing to perfect in terms of like the design and how well thought out this whole thing was. It also came at the perfect time. Number one, right after the 2008 financial collapse happened. That's when the Bitcoin white paper came out in 2008. I think it was October 31st, 2008. The white paper was introduced. And then a couple months later, January 3rd, 2009, that's when the first block was mined, the Genesis block. This was right after the 2008 financial collapse, right after the banks were bailed out, essentially. So the timing of it was perfect. And in terms of like the internet, I don't think that Bitcoin actually could have been any earlier than it was because the internet wasn't quite ready for Bitcoin yet. It just wasn't. So it not only was so well thought out in terms of the psychology behind it, the proof of work aspect, it brought together all the things that make Bitcoin that had been 40, 50 years in the making. So it brought all those things together in terms of like the actual economic incentive, the psychological incentive behind it. Everything was so well designed and so well thought out into the future. It almost makes you wonder, honestly, like if there wasn't some sort of time travel involved there, for real. And I'm not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist here, although I got a really big kick out of RFK yesterday when one of the guys asked him if he considers himself to be a conspiracy theorist. And he basically just named 5 or 6 times that were conspiracies that actually ended up being correct. But this, I wouldn't say this is a conspiracy, but I think that there had to have been some sort of like advanced thinking here within Bitcoin. There's no way that a human being came up with this technology. To me, anyways. I think that it had to have been some sort of a time traveler. I think. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of shit. But it was just, the reason I said is just because of how well thought out this whole thing was. The things that Satoshi, person or group, thought through here is incredible. To me, a human mind can't comprehend in the now versus in the future, and how 8 billion people will react to this thing. It's crazy. AV says, if you dollar cost average and over time, the difference in price starts not to matter. 100%. Yes, I'd be scared shitless being out of Bitcoin right now. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is like, just you don't want to be on the sidelines when this thing starts running, and it's going to start running here very soon. I'm in no rush for it, honestly. No rush, but it's going to start moving soon. George says, thanks, George. He's sure about there being an 80% bear market in 2026. Maybe there will be, but do you want to take that chance with something? Exactly. Do you want to take that chance with something as uncomprehendibly valuable as Bitcoin? 100%. 100%. The downside to doing that, to me, the risk there far outweighs the potential. What am I trying to say here? Like, the benefit of that is nothing compared to the risk that you're taking on by sitting on the sidelines right now. Like, the benefit of waiting for that to happen. So let's say that we do get an 80% drawdown in 2026. I'm guessing that we're going to be much higher than we are right now by 2026. Let's say that we're even 200,000. Okay. So let's say that, and I think it's going to be much higher than that. It would surprise me zero if it went to 1 million in 2026. Zero. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I actually more expect that than 200K. I think it's going to be closer to 1 million than 200K. But that's just me. That has no real bearing there. That's just what I think is going to happen. But because you also have to keep in mind here, the reason I say that is because if you just look at what has happened historically in terms of the cycles, without nation states, without Trump, without ETFs, historically, the bull run that we're about to go on here would hit about 1.52 million as a normal cycle. Not a super cycle, nothing else crazy. That's kind of what would happen here. It just in normal circumstances through Bitcoin's history. So let's say that we get to even 200,000, very conservatively. And let's say something happens in 2026 that we can't foresee, a black swan event where Bitcoin drops 80%. So what would happen with that? It would go down from, let's say, 200 to, what would it be? Like 50K? Okay. So you get half the amount, or double, I guess, that you would get today. Double. Okay. So that's best case, pretty much. Best case scenario, you're going to end up with double the amount of Bitcoin for whatever you're putting into it. Worst case is that you leave that cash sitting on the sidelines. This thing goes to 1 million and it doesn't slow down for a long time. And at that point, you're getting about 10% of what you would have had. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the chance of, like, best case scenario here, you get an extra 50% of the Bitcoin. Worst case, you get 50%. Best case, you get 50% more. Worst case, you have less than 10% of what you would have today. So the risk far outweighs the benefit to this. That's kind of what I'm saying. And I hope that makes sense. So I see a super chat here. What do we got? Paul, $5 super chat. Thank you, Paul. Cheers, Jor and Bitcoiners. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to you. Craig says, all right, hold on here. My Path to Fire said, someone wrote me today. They came to Bitcoin for the fiat gains, but then it breaks every idea you had. Yep. Isn't that the truth? And that's the crazy thing too, is like, I've gone through the charts of, like, how much Bitcoin these countries and companies are going to want and need versus how much is available. And where's that going to come from? And if you're looking at Bitcoiners right now who hold Bitcoin, you have to think about this. Think about it this way. And I think it was American Hodl who said this the other day on one podcast I was listening to. But he basically said that the longer you spend in Bitcoin, the more you understand it, the more conviction you have over it, and the less likely you are to sell that Bitcoin. So that's the first part of this. I think we would all agree with that. The second part is that the people who are getting into Bitcoin, whether they're buying Bitcoin. So let's say that there's a brand new person. Let's say it's, who was this here? Let's say it was George's brother. He's buying Bitcoin for the first time. That's what he values it at, 100,000. That's what the price of Bitcoin is based on, the last person who bought Bitcoin, the last person who bought and sold Bitcoin. So somebody who's brand new to Bitcoin, who does not have any sort of conviction over what Bitcoin is, anything, they're willing to pay $100,000 for it. So that's like the bare minimum of what this asset is really worth. Because if you ask me, somebody who's been in Bitcoin for a while and understands what's going on here, my price for it would be probably in the hundreds of millions right now. And that's not even a joke. Like, in order for me to part with all of my Bitcoin today or tomorrow, I would have to get probably 100 million per coin at least. And I still might not do it. So when we're looking at the price, it's actually somebody who has no idea what Bitcoin is, has no understanding of Bitcoin, and they're buying it for the first time at that price. That's what they see it's worth, but they have no idea what it's actually worth. But the price is based on the last buyer. And the last buyer, in a lot of circumstances, is somebody who's new to Bitcoin. So as the supply continues to shrink, as BlackRock continues to suck up the Bitcoin that people are stupid enough to sell, you also have very hardened Bitcoiners here who, yeah, the price is $100,000, but like I wouldn't even think about selling it for that, all my Bitcoin. You're going to have to add probably another 3 zeros to it. Probably another 3 zeros for me to part with my full coin. So we're just going to see that. It's going to become more and more scarce. There's going to be more and more hardened Bitcoiners. They're going to have to sell less of their stack to pay for whatever they need as the price goes up. And as the supply continues to shrink and the demand continues to rise and Bitcoiners are less likely to part with their coins, the price is just going to keep going up. That's why there's really no limit on how high Bitcoin can go, which is crazy. It's really crazy to think about it in that sense. Craig says the Norwegian central bank bought 500 million shares of MicroStrategy. Wow. AI calculated every Norwegian owns 0.0001 Bitcoin on a per share basis. Oh, $500 million of MicroStrategy. Okay, that makes more sense. I was going to say, I don't even know how many. I don't even think there's that many shares in MicroStrategy right now. 500 million. 500 million US worth. So that's I did a video about MicroStrategy the other day. And I said, the reason why people are willing to pay a premium right now is because they can't actually do anything else. They want exposure to Bitcoin, but they can't actually get exposure to Bitcoin. Like, perfect example here, Norwegian central bank. They can't just hold Bitcoin. It would be against their rules and regulations that they can't hold Bitcoin, or it's not included in that. These were probably written before Bitcoin was even a thought. And that's kind of still what they're operating on. So they're willing to pay that premium for MicroStrategy shares. But like in 5 or 10 years from now, I kind of foresee that Norwegian central bank, if this thing plays out the way I expect it to, they're going to sell their shares in MicroStrategy and they're just going to start holding Bitcoin themselves. It might not even take 5 or 10 years. So that's why I still think that there is a massive opportunity for MicroStrategy today. But I don't think it's always going to be the case. I think that as demand for Bitcoin from these big institutions and big entities falls, so does the premium on it and the overall price of MicroStrategy. So something to think about. But it is it's pretty crazy that central banks are looking at Bitcoin now, since Bitcoin is basically designed to eliminate them. Santino says, nail the drawer. I've always said Bitcoin shouldn't be here for at least another 100 years. Yet it is. True. It's true. Look at this. Love this. Normie Weimar again. It's quite the name. Says, I liquid a huge portion of my silver to buy sats. That a boy or girl. But that's it. I was buying on a schedule. I am buying sats the same way I bought silver. You are spot in within dollar cost averaging. Had to cap locks that. You are spot on with dollar cost averaging. Yeah, it's the best way to do it. Not only should you be dollar cost averaging in terms of like a small amount or a large amount, whatever, I don't know what your financial situation is. But if you just dollar cost average every week for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, you're going to be fucking blown away with the amount of Bitcoin you have, especially up until this point now. Because I'm still under the assumption that as soon as Trump comes out and says the US is buying Bitcoin, it's over. You're going to look at your Bitcoin balance on that date, whatever it was. Let's say it's June 2025. Trump comes out and says the US is buying Bitcoin. You look at your Bitcoin balance that day, it's not going to change much from there. You might, get a little bit more as we go along here. You'll probably get less because you'll have to spend some sats over time, probably. So you're going to look at your Bitcoin balance that day and you're going to see like, this is probably the most Bitcoin I'm ever going to have. And I think if you understand that, like if you understand the implications of where we are right now and what that's going to have on the price and demand for Bitcoin, you're going to start doing everything that you can to, look under your couch cushions, look under your car seats, trade everything you can in for Bitcoin, because when that happens, that's going to be the pinnacle of your Bitcoin holdings pretty much, which is kind of depressing, but it's the reality. And that's why I'm in zero rush for this thing to happen, because when it happens, it's going to be so far out of reach for people and us too, in order to get more sats. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So that's why dollar cost is important. Plus, not sitting on the sidelines right now. Paul says, watch Breedlove's podcast with Jack Kruse for some mind-blowing history on what led to Bitcoin. All right. I want to watch those, except there's like 5 hours of them already, right? And I think there's going to be 2 more parts coming. So anyways, on the Jack Kruse stuff, I kind of got some exciting news to share here. A little bit. So how can I say this? I mean, it's not that exciting probably for people, but it is kind of cool. So I'm actually going to be working with a company now, not working with them. They're not going to be paying me anything, but I'm going to be using their products. I'm going to be trying them out. I'm going to be sharing my experience about them on the channel here. And if I like it, if I'm getting some positive results, I'm going to share that with you. And there's 2 products. There's actually 2 companies here that I'm going to be working with on this. They're not going to be paying me anything, so they're not going to have any sort of influence on what I talk about and the words that come out of my mouth. But one of them is actually a red light company. And it's funny because I got the package here. I'm in the process of setting it up. It's actually 2 lights that I'm going to put on each side of my screen here. That's basically going to counteract the blue light from being on my computer all day. So I'm going to be setting those up. I'm going to be trying it out, and then I'm going to be sharing it. And there's going to be a discount obviously available for people in this community. But the cool thing is kind of in the process of me talking to the guy who owns the company, him sending me some products and me trying the products, I saw that Jack Dorsey, talking about Jack today, Jack Dorsey actually shared their website on Nostr the other day. So if you're on Nostr, go look at Jack Dorsey's feed. He doesn't post very much, but you can go see a red light company that he's promoting. So I was like, fuck yeah. If Jack's on board with this, because Jack worked very closely with Jack Kruse. And I saw that Jack shared this company, which gave me a lot of a little bit of conviction that, all right, these guys are legitimate. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to dive into the red light stuff, to try out these essentially blue light blockers. And I also got some golden sunglasses. I don't think I'm going to be wearing them on the show, but anyways, yeah. My Path to Fire says, I heard about those red light lamps supposed to be good. Yeah, supposed to be good for you, especially here in Canada for me, where I can't watch the sunrise every day because it's fucking minus 50 here. Sunshine says, Jack Dorsey understands the light. That's what I mean. Like when I saw that he shared that, I was like, all right, we're on to something here. So that's kind of cool. I'll have more information on that here coming soon. I just want to try it out. I want to make sure the product's good quality, makes a difference. Otherwise, I'm not going to talk about it here. That's kind of my thing going forward here. Is I'm not going to take any ad money from people. I'm just going to talk about products that I like. And maybe if there's an affiliate program or a referral program, most companies have that now where you get a discount, I get a bit of a kickback. And I think that that's a much more honest way to do things. Tyree says, I don't feel alone about having a wild theory about Bitcoin right now. The world would go to shit if we continued on a fiat path. Was Bitcoin created by an advanced civilization or was time travel involved? That's what I'm saying. I really don't think that it was just like a regular guy who was able to put all the pieces together and put it in such a very brilliant. I don't think there's any other word to describe it other than brilliant way to ensure there's fairness, ensure there's actual proof of work involved, to ensure that the little guy actually has the most supply before the countries and banks start buying it. Everything was just so well thought out. The cycles, it had to be something more than just a person. Mr. Yolfang, good morning. Good morning. Jared says, look at this. This is a nice comment, I think. Jared says, I started following your channel when you had maybe 300 subs. It's awesome to see everything pan out for you, watching you connect with all sorts of Bitcoin YouTubers. Way to make dreams reality. It is kind of crazy, honestly. And the thing is, to me, like, I really think that this thing hasn't even got off the ground yet. That's a cool thing for me. With like this channel, with Bitcoin, with if you have any sort of we'll call it a tentacle. If your tentacles are touching anything Bitcoin related right now, you're going to do very, very, very well for the rest of your life, essentially. And I have to always remind myself of that because it's very easy for me to, when you're all in on Bitcoin and you see your credit cards and you see your mortgage and you see your other loans, it can be very disheartening because it feels like you're just barely getting by here. That's how I felt. That's how I feel still today. But then I take a step back and just understand what I'm holding here. And it's not a lot of Bitcoin at all. I'm actively trying to get more of it, obviously. But then I just take a step back and think, you know what? All of that is a complete illusion. This is the real thing. This is the future of everything. And probably no matter what happens here, what politicians in place, it doesn't really matter. Over the long term, I'm good. I'm more than good. And again, I don't have a huge stack of Bitcoin. I don't. And I'm sure if you've been watching the show and kind of the things that I talk about and how, I'm somebody who says, go into ZBD and earn 5 sats. Somebody with multiple Bitcoin would not be taking their time to earn 5 fucking sats. That's just the reality of things here. So I don't care if you believe me or not. It is the truth. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is like all that stuff that I see in the fiat world, my bills, my loan accounts, stuff like that, it's very easy to just wrap yourself into that and be, down and depressed and stressed out about it. But then you look over here and you're like, okay, well, you know what? Even if this thing works out about 10% of what I think it's going to, I'm going to be more than okay. And that's a very comforting feeling, especially in a world that has zero hope at all for anybody in it. But thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. And I thank you for, being here because it's kind of hard to subscribe to a channel when they have 300 subs because you just kind of assume that they're full of shit or they're, not deserving of an audience. So I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate a lot of people who have been here for, it's only been a year. It's been a year and look what we've done already. Living in the Future hasn't even been around for 1 year yet. The people within, even the first person in Living in the Future, I think that was Daniel. I'm pretty sure. $5 a month times 12, that's $60. I mean, if you ask Daniel today, being the first member of Living the Future, if the $60 US he's spent on being a member of Living the Future, he'd probably spit out his coffee. And that's going to be the case here going forward. So I really want people to kind of take that seriously, in the sense that the Living in the Future community, I think we have 95 people right now in the chat. 95. And so the next 5 people who join that Living in the Future community are going to be put into that Signal chat, where you have access to some very, very intelligent Bitcoiners. Some that you'll know, some like Craig, who you won't know, but offers a ton of value to it. It's probably the best deal in Bitcoin. It's the best. If I were to ever suggest somebody parts with their sats for something to, better themselves, I would say that. So again, Daniel was the first founding member of Living in the Future, and he hasn't even paid $60 for it yet, total. I mean, he maybe has, because I think he's in a higher tier now, but at a $5 per month for a full year, which is all it's been, I don't think it's been even a year yet. $60. So I'm thinking that he would attest to the fact that pretty good deal, pretty good value from it. And not just like in knowledge, but like also just meeting people. I'm sure Daniel within that community has met some people who will be a big part of his life for the rest of his life, probably. Bitcoiners, the kind of people you want to be working with and building with and conversing with. Yeah, hit your cart to the right horse. That's right. M. Vincent says, "Did you get a chance to look into China's Bitcoin dump?" No, I didn't. I didn't hear anything about that at all. Look at this. We got Normie. Says, "No such thing as bad weather, just bad gear. Get yourself some." Oh, okay. This is interesting. Some Burns. What the hell kind of a name is that? That's a bad brand. Probably European, I'm guessing, or a Klima. All right, that's true though. That is very true. No such thing as, well, there is bad weather. I don't know if have you ever been in Canada when it's minus 48? I would say that that's pretty fucking bad weather. But you're right. You can dress better for it. Alon says, "Are you using or recommending Bitcoin-backed loans from companies like Ledden?" No, I'm not. And it's not that I don't like them or trust them. I just don't. I've never used them myself, so I wouldn't recommend anybody uses anything unless I use it first. But I just don't think we're there yet. I don't think that there's a need for it yet. For well, I mean, I guess you could argue that. I just don't ever want to be like the first guy through the door. I usually, if you looked at my track record in life, I've never been like the first person to do anything, like big picture globally. I've always been kind of the first person within like my network, my family, my friend group, to do things. So I'm like an early adopter in a sense that I wait and let the world figure it out. A couple brave people out there first figured out before me. And then once I see some signs of like this thing's legitimate, then I adopt it. Like I had an iPhone 3. I was probably the first person in my town to have an iPhone. I remember I had to switch phone providers at the time because there was only one phone provider that offered an iPhone. It was the iPhone 3. And everybody else had like the flip phones. They had the like the Razors, and iPhones were like a completely foreign thing at that point. But I saw it. I was like, this is going to be a big part of the future. I bought some I told Dad to buy some Apple shares then too, because I saw it. I could see what was coming there. So I'm never like the first one to adopt something, but I'm always early on. I have been for my whole life. I don't know what it is, but it's the truth. Bitcoin's the same. I was like 10 years late to Bitcoin, but I'm like the only person in my whole, real life that actually owned Bitcoin. One of maybe like 2 or 3 today. Aside from the people within 88 sats who we kind of, got them to buy Bitcoin. But things like this, kind of where I'm going with this is like, just let it let people try it out. Unless you're like in a huge like need for it, like in a big pinch for cash and you're desperate. But other than that, I would just kind of let things settle down a bit. Let the dust settle. The ones who are legitimate will be there after the dust settles, and then try that. Says Alon says, I heard you were saying waiting for a future option to get a Bitcoin backed loan, but it already exists. Is there a difference? No, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's just like, it's unproven to me. It's unproven to me. So I'm just not, I'm not ready to do it yet. The Unknown Disciple says, get some blue light blocking glasses. Yeah, that's what I got. They're gold, actually. They don't look like the red ones. They're gold. So I'm going to try out the glasses. I'm going to try out the 2 lights and see how things work. Jay, let's fucking grow. Anyways, Normie, by the way, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. And I will definitely look into those two brands. I'm all about the warm clothes. Stack sats and stay humble. That's harder to say than stay humble and stack sats. Stack sats and stay humble. I American. Well, that's the I don't know. I don't know what that means, Terry. Might have to retype that one. Yeah, it's fucking brutal weather. That's an understatement. Jay says, who can send me the Signal group invite? Yeah, just download the app, Jay, and shoot me an email. Or just, I'm not going to say my username on here, but shoot me an email. Let me know when you've, or a message somewhere. Let me know you got it, and I'll send you my my username. You can just shoot me a message. I'll get you added into the group. Logan says, what wallet should I use with my Cold card? Sparrow, 100%. Alon says, about Ledden, they have an option to get a loan, not of money, but more of Bitcoin out of your existing Bitcoin. Just wondering if you looked into it. No, I haven't. I do think that there's a responsible amount of debt that you could take on to buy Bitcoin with, though. That is, I will say that. All right, so we got 9:42 here. I'm going to check on Rumble here. Oh, I got 12% battery left. Nice. That's what we like. Why would we be more charged than that? Okay, hold on. Too many cords in this place here. Too many cords. I actually moved my Wi-Fi router too, or Wi-Fi router. I'm going to have the router behind me here. I don't know. Have you guys done any digging on this or thinking about this before, like in terms of like where your router is versus where you sit in your office? Because like the unit for this on the roof would be over there, and I want to put the router right here, and then I want to hardwire it to my laptop and turn off the Wi-Fi. So to me, that would suggest that the Wi-Fi signal would kind of stop behind me. It wouldn't like go through me. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I feel like it is. If it's traveling, it's going to be able to go. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I feel like I'm going to set it up behind me, hardwire it to this laptop, and then so there's no like Wi-Fi signal going through me essentially, right? Because if I had my box behind me here and I'm running Wi-Fi, I feel like the signal would be kind of going through me there. I don't know if there's anything there or not, but King says, get a long Ethernet and staple it to the wall. That's what I'm going to do, because I have a long enough Ethernet cable. If I wanted to put it over there in the corner, I could run it all the way along here and to my laptop. I think I'm going to do that today. You don't want to sit next to the router. I agree with that, but I also think that there's probably some sort of waves that come through between like the router and the laptop. So that's why I want to kind of go or put an Ethernet cable around it. Oh, okay. So that's what I mean. Plunger says Wi-Fi antennas are omnidirectional. Doesn't matter where you put it. You are frying yourself. Shit. I thought I was outsmarting Wi-Fi there. And I'm still going to do it anyways, because even if it's not real, I'll still like, it'll be a, what would you call it? what's the pill called where it doesn't actually do anything? You know what I mean? Maybe you don't. Smoosh. Does Sparrow ever go down? No. Why would Sparrow go down? I'm running like an old Sparrow version on it. I think I'm still on like, it keeps telling me to update it, but I don't want to because I think it's still using like the mixing, I think, because they had to shut that down. But I think it's the one I'm still using it is the old version. So no, it won't ever go down. Why would it go down? Placebo. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Placebos. Jay says, I sent you an email. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for that today. Placebo. Yes, thank you, everybody. You read my mind. All right, so what I'm going to wrap things up here because we got our meeting here right away with the crew. Pretty excited. We're very close. We're very close to launching the Citadel here. I've been talking about it for a while, but we're still kind of getting our shit together. We want to make sure that we have the right foundation built. And the website will probably be live, I'm thinking, this weekend. So I don't know. I don't really know who's out there. I actually took some time over the weekend and kind of thought about like who our customers are. And I really want to focus 100% on our customers. I know how much knowledge we have within our advisory group here. So I want to focus more on like the customer 100% in terms of like, where are they? What are their interests? You know, what kind of person are they? And what are they looking for? And I kind of thought of two different customers. These are the kind of two that I had in mind. And I don't know why I'm really sharing this, but I think it's, you know, just inside baseball a little bit. But like the two customers that would be for Citadel would be like knowledgeable people, knowledgeable Bitcoiners who understand what's going on here. They understand that they need to protect their Bitcoin properly. And they just haven't put in enough time to, you know, figure that out themselves. So they know what they need. So that's going to be one customer, knowledgeable Bitcoiners who know what they need. And then there's going to be a whole nother slew of people who are like, they have Bitcoin, but they don't know what they don't have, essentially. I feel like those people are going to be much harder to reach because when you don't know there's a problem, then you're not really doing anything to fix it. So I'm trying to structure things both like how we communicate to people, how we market ourselves to people, kind of based on those two profiles there. And so the majority of people who are watching the show today would fall in like the Bitcoiners. The people who have Bitcoin understand it, understand the need for security. So I think that the majority, especially when we're getting off the ground here, are going to come from the people who watch the show. Then eventually, you know, the people who have Bitcoin ETFs, the people who own MicroStrategy, the people who have Bitcoin on an exchange, they're going to start to realize that they're going to need security for this. And when they need security, they're going to need an inheritance protocol based around it. So it's exciting. That's kind of what I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow and Saturday is getting our website finished up. And hopefully it's going to be live and I can share that with people on there. But in the meantime, we've actually been helping quite a few people in terms of especially the inheritance side of things. So if you are somebody out there, and we're going to do a couple things differently than other advisory firms. First one is that our rates are going to be much, much more reasonable. And we're going to have to kind of walk a fine line of like not charging too small of an amount where people think that we're kind of like a joke versus, you know, the criminality I think that's happening in the Bitcoin industry right now. Like $500 to help somebody set up a fucking Bitcoin node is criminal to me. It's not greed, it's criminal. So we got to find, you know, the sweet spot here. And I think that a lot of our business is going to come from people within the community here and you guys telling your friends and family about us. So I want to be really transparent with all this stuff. So that's the first one, is that we are going to be much more reasonably priced than other options. And we're not going to push you anything that you don't need just because we want to. We're good at it. It's going to be 100% about you. The second one is going to be that we're actually going to have a value for value option. So if you don't want to pay like $200 an hour, or if you don't want to you're not pigeonholed into like a cold card or a node or inheritance stuff. If you just got a couple questions, we're going to have people on call pretty much. And you can set up a quick call. You can have your list of questions, set up a call, And then you can just pay whatever you think it was worth for you. And I think that that's how it should be. So we're going to be, that I'm aware of, the only advisory firm that has value for value option, which is a big one. And the third thing that we're going to do differently is we have the super backed inheritance protocol, which will be coming in 2026, 2027. There's going to be banks using it. There's going to be law firms using it. There's going to be notaries using it. But that's going to be all KYC'd information. Anytime you're running through like a bank or a lawyer or anybody, it's going to be fully KYC'd and probably a lot more charge, more cost to you. So the nice thing about this inheritance security protocol that we're doing is it's completely non-KYC. Like, we'll know your name because we want to talk to you. But other than that, we don't need to know where you live. We don't need to know your phone number. We don't need to know anything. It's fully non-KYC, which is a big deal to a lot of Bitcoiners, including myself. And the other nice thing about that too is that we have no idea how much Bitcoin you have. So we walk you through the whole process, essentially hold your hand through it, but we have no idea what's in the information there. We have no idea what you're storing in there. We have no idea how much Bitcoin you have. We have no access to a key. It's completely non-KYC, completely up to you. So this won't be for everybody. Like it just won't be, because there's people who prefer convenience and they're willing to sacrifice their KYC and their privacy for that convenience. But for the people who want to like take this thing very seriously and be very sovereign about it, Bitcoin Citadel is going to be the only place that offers this in a non-KYC for now anyways. So that's kind of what we got going on. And I'm very excited. I've already talked to plenty of people within this community here. I think Craig and I have probably done more than 20 meetings so far with people. And there hasn't been too many people who have said no to it yet. It just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And when things make sense, people usually figure it out eventually. Jan says, do you work with US customers? Absolutely. There's no borders with this. There's no KYC, nothing. It's all done. Actually, we do everything through the Signal app because it's much more private. So you could be in the US, you could be in Canada, you could be in Sweden, you could be in anywhere. Brazil, there's no borders as long as you can speak English. So yeah, definitely US is probably going to be our biggest customer base. Honestly, that's the majority of people who watch the show are from the US. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I just want to say thank you. I actually didn't have Arnie's wallet here today, but I'm sure there was a couple people who sent sats into that. So if you have, thank you. And I'll definitely give you a shout out on tomorrow's show because I just didn't have it here today. But thank you for the zaps over on Zapstream too. I got to figure out how to top up my balance. Daniel, if you don't mind, I see Daniel's over here. Daniel, if you don't mind, I still haven't figured out how to top up my balance. Okay, you know what? I can use this link. Let me try this. I was going to say, Daniel, spot me 500 sats here, top up my balance. No, that doesn't work. There's got to be a way to do that, though, using that link. So it says, please top up or use this link, zap.stream. Okay, let me try this link. Hold on. So, Daniel, how do you use the link then? It doesn't work for me. How do you do it? I should be able to do it then if you can do it. I don't see the link. Shit. Sorry about this, everybody. This is kind of a fuck around here to finish the show, but I kind of want to get this figured out so we can keep streaming on Zapstream. Yeah, that's not working for me. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it, Daniel. But anyways, okay. So thank you for the zaps today. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chats today, Paul and Normie. Very much appreciated. And I hope you guys liked the chat today, and I hope you got a couple of laughs in as well from those memes that were shared. Let me just try this one more time here. I'll get it figured out. So have yourselves a great day today, everybody. Again, I appreciate you for being here, and for all the nice stuff here. I do want to say thanks because it's not unnoticed. It's not. It's very easy to just consume content. I get it, like for sure. It's very easy to just consume content and move on with your day. It's also easy to criticize people online and, say you were wrong about this, or you're a dipshit or whatever. But it takes a special kind of person to actually spread some love around. And I think that itself has given me so much hope within Bitcoin, the movement, the revolution, and everything going on in here. Is just the love. It's easy to just watch something and move on. But if you can take like just a second and like the video, subscribe to the channel, send a zap if you're able to financially, that's the hard thing to do, but it's the thing that pushes this thing forward. And we are all on Team Bitcoin. We're all doing this whole thing together and living through this thing together. And every person that we bring into the Bitcoin network is going to be better for us and for humanity, in my opinion. So I appreciate it. So have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow for Fat Zap Friday. Thank you, King. Thank you, Lappad. Thank you, Rick. And thank you, everybody. Very much appreciate it. So we'll see you tomorrow. Arnie's going to break his neck here trying to say bye.